Hey guys, it's Ben the Coin Geek. Welcome to Ben's Friends AZ, my alternative channel to the non-coin channel where I get to talk about whatever I want to. And today we're talking about whiskey, not any whiskey, but 1845 Distilling, one of my favorite places to visit in Lowry Crossing, Texas. This is, if you're familiar with the Dallas area, 15 or so minutes north of Allen. And it's a nice little farming community, former farming community that happens to have one of the best bourbon producing distilleries in the world. Okay, that's just one man's opinion. So I've actually got a video already on doing a distillery tour at 1845. This is the single barrel experience. This was a brand new experience for me and it was lots of fun. I went with my brother and his friend, and there happened to be two other people with us. This is being filmed in 2026, and at that time the cost was $125, and you end up bottling a single bottle out of one of the 6 barrels that you have to choose from. So it is a blind tasting. There is not a lot of overview to the whiskey making process or the distillery itself. It's just, here's the high points on our family history, the distillery history. At this point in time, they've only produced 700 barrels total between 2019 and 2026. And here we are with some of I think, the best whiskey that you can get anywhere. So you end up going into it's like a barn room. It's a big steel, metal building just outside of their main building. And they've got 6 different barrels picked out. And they pick them out for one of two reasons. The master distiller goes through the barrels and picks out items that he thinks really represents well. It's a very high quality of the material that they like, the flavor profiles that they like, and it's just really good quality. Or they pick something that is completely off note, that is like, oh, that's different. We're going to include this because it is just totally different than anything else that we have. And so that really makes the experience kind of interesting. At this point in time, the way the single barrel pick works, for the $125, you get one, you get to bottle one. Any other bottles you bottle is $90, and you can bottle, I think, up to 6 bottles. And it was interesting because this particular time, as they rotate the barrels out, I don't know how frequently, I think it's just as the barrels get lower, they've put new barrels in. They had just put new barrels, different barrels than they had previously, just a few weeks before we got there. So I'm assuming what it sounded like is at least annually you're going to have a rotation of new barrels in there to go ahead and try and pick. So one of the things that was interesting is that we had only 3 of the different mash bills. They have their 4 grain, they have their like normal mash bill, and then they had their wheated mash bill. And talking to Ben is the name of the gentleman who led the tour, talking to Ben about with what frequency do things get chosen differently? Is there one that always wins? Is there a most popular? Or is it basically there's 6 barrels and it's evenly divided, like, you've got a 1 in 6 chance of picking the same thing as somebody else? He said it's a lot closer to the 1 in 6 chance, which, of course, tastes are what they are. Probability is what it is. And I think most people are probably like you or me, which is to say, we're not professionals. We're not in there just trying, picking out every last note and understanding exactly what we're tasting. We're just having a good time. And this is a good time. I'd highly recommend it. So it was 5 of us total in there, my brother and his friend and a couple other folks that were there, very nice people. And it's fun. You sit down, you go and pick up a glass, and you walk over to barrel 1, and he thieves from it with a thief, and he fills some for you, and then you put one of these little cards on top to capture the aroma, and then you walk through, grab another glass, get number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you put them all down, and then you keep them separate, understanding which one is which, keeping them separate. There are lots of snacks and water the whole time. This is the type of thing that if you have someone who can drive for you, or Uber, or something along those lines, not a bad idea. it feels like one way or the other, this could turn into a lot for someone who doesn't drink much. If you do drink a lot, this is probably not, not a big problem for you. The drinking a lot is the big problem. You just don't know it yet, but well, maybe you know it, you just haven't admitted it yet. But the single barrel experience is a lot of fun. He recommends kind of sitting in silence for a while, not really talking it over too much, which I understand because I think people can really lead each other. For example, with the five of us, no one picked the two weeded, and I don't know if that's just because of taste or if that was like turned into groupthink. We picked a total of 9 different bottles because I ended up getting a secondary bottle because I liked one. And then the other one, I was like, it was just different. And I think that was the type of thing that was like, oh, this is different. And that's why they put it there. I was like, this is unique. I'm not sure it's exactly on point, so to speak, but I really like it. And so I ended up getting 2. Now, so you go through the tasting process. Eventually you decide, this actually takes quite a bit of time as you work your way through. I'd say that everyone is just kind of sipping on things for a good hour, maybe 45 minutes to an hour. And then the actual bottling process takes a lot of time because what happens is they have plain bottles. Their 1845, of course, is engraved, and their map of Texas is engraved. But the labels, none of the labels are on here. There's no cork. You go ahead and he brings you a bottle. You get to thieve it with the thief and drop it in, and it's really a fun time. Then you go and you cork it, and these bottles have I like their little custom 1845 cork on top, and then they actually have instructions on how to put the different labels on. So what was fun with this for me is that you get to sign the commemorative bottle, which is just kind of cool. Date and sign the commemorative bottle on one of the pieces, and then you put the whole label on and you write what you get. Now, they don't tell you, I'm not going to tell you which barrel is which barrel or anything like that. But this time when I was there, one of the things that I happened to pick was from barrel number 8, which was interesting. Now, realizing that there's only 6 barrels there, you're like, Ben, what are you talking about? Well, what I'm saying is this was barrel number 8. What they tell you when you make the label is they have a spot for the labels that include the barrel number. And so like this happened to be barrel number 187. And then you can date it, but they have the age of the barrel and they have the barrel proof. So that those are the things that you write on the barrel, and then you sign little side commemorative issue and you put that on there. So the whole process, I mean, it's almost close to 2 hours, soup to nuts, when you're all done. And then you go and you check out if you're getting an extra barrel, an extra bottle. I keep saying barrel. If you get an extra bottle, you got to go back inside and pay for that in the main building. Also, these come with a Glencairn, the Canadian style Glencairn, which I don't know if that's the technical term for it, but it's the Glencairn that's stemless, that has a nice little fat bottom to it, and has 1845 Distilling Company engraved. It also has single barrel experience engraved, which I thought was super cool because I didn't have one of those yet, and I was actually looking to get one. So the timing was perfect. So if you have interest in doing anything of this type, I highly recommend, if you're in the Dallas area, going ahead. The distillery tour might be more your speed if you're not wanting to sit down and just sample 6 different bourbons. That I think is about $35 right now. And, they have a bunch of samples at the end. You don't have to buy anything if you don't want to. But if you're a connoisseur, and for me, the word experience just sums the whole thing up. It's just an experience. It's the fun thing to go and do with friends. If you enjoy bourbon, if you enjoy whiskey, if you enjoy hanging out, it's a pretty neat experience. Most of their products in-house are in that $90 range. So they actually have these at Total Wine in Texas. So, and their products are cheaper in Total Wine in Texas. But also, to me, for the experience, it's worth doing. It's worth going and having the fun of sitting with friends and tasting stuff and eventually becoming opinionated about what you picked. So anyways, I hope you guys have had some type of experience like this at other distilleries or at 1845. If you have, go ahead and leave your comments down below. And as always, thanks for being here. Hey, do the algorithm stuff, which is like comment, share, all that good stuff. We all live in an algorithm world, and I am an algorithm boy. All right. Thanks. Take care.